Wayne Heads. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. 386-438-0127. Southern Kitchen.
As a man of distinction, I enjoy my evolution as a man. The journey hasn't been easy. I haven't made every perfect choice, but I made the best ones I could. My name is Corey T. Williams. Just a man trying to be the best man I can be. And as a Christian in America, it has been so hard to be a positive image for Black men in America. This year, if I survive, April 16th, will mark 50 years that I've been alive. And it's a milestone I never thought I would make. But I'm so blessed that I have. These next images that you're gonna see, my jail, Papa Jack. And I love to bring you this story, because it's a story of love, perseverance, and they're part of who helped raise me. My mom, God bless her soul in heaven, and my father have always been in my life. And the neighborhood, the community helped raise me since I was 5 in Gainesville, Florida. Mama Jill and Papa Jack, they're part of that family, and I do call them family. They allowed me to document it's a conversation, their love, and there's some other general talk that I have with my peers and elders about Alachua County, about Jonesville, particularly where Papa Jack is from. And if you know about anything, about the Newberry 5, 6, whatever, that's his story. Papa Jack McHenry is a truly great man, truly great. And to bring light to his story, some of it, and to show that a man can love a woman fully, truly. 50 years is what their love is going on. 50 years. Interracial love in the South. That's amazing. And hopefully you'll find their story amazing as well. Again, my name is Corey T. Williams. Men of distinction. I'm just trying to show positive images of us in TV and in media. I have over 20 years of doing this. Thanks for following, sharing, liking, however you came across this media. Welcome, become a fan. I am the artist Coochie Bird Jr. as well. And I got a couple of books out, a couple of streaming albums, like no other, and my latest, whatever that's called. Just show what can be done as a poet. I'm a poet, I'm not a rapper. We look the same, but we're not. Again, Corey T. Williams, Coochie Bird Jr. Go stream that stuff. Learn about your boy. But this documentary that I'm working on, it's more about where we're from, and our culture in North Central Florida, and all that we have to offer from this area. So thanks for giving me a chance, thanks for giving me a watch, and check out this production. It's pretty good stuff. Corey T. Williams, offthechains.com, YouTube, Corey Williams 23. 13, 16, one of them. You check it out.
And Mr. Jack, were you born in Newberry or?
Well, what we all called Jonesville.
Jonesville. Yes, sir. Cause Jonesville now it's a whole nother city type. It's a whole nother almost like place to be. And a lot of people from Gainesville. Some of us have moved over there, moved out there, but just that was really a place where a lot of people started at, and not a lot of people know that. As a man, growing up, and even a man now, things are kind of different. I'm trying to raise a son. I have a 10-year-old, and in this day and age, I can't really discipline my son the way that I was disciplined and different things like that. And when I look at some of my peers, some of us we're not as mentally tough, I don't think, able to handle stuff. So a lot of the violence, a lot of the fighting I see black men do is because they didn't have strong father figures in their lives. And I want to thank you for being a father figure in my life, because growing up on Fifth Avenue, it was hard, during the 80s, it was so many distractions for a young man to get into. The thing that, for my childhood growing up, around Fifth Avenue and, your family and also the Baxter family, Mr. Baxter, he helped us with music in the area. We with dashikis, him and his wife, they would do dashikis for us to perform in, where we performed at the Thomas Center. And so growing up in that era, having an organization, I believe it was called Pecan or whatever parents you came up with, it was, you guys saw the vision, and like I said, it was a collection of parents, and that's what really struck me when we came from Putnam County, Florida home, and living here in Gainesville, was that I was that white parent, and it was like a couple of white parents, so it wasn't like just, a black neighborhood. That's not what I saw, as I grew up. I saw all the parents, getting together to provide something for us kids, and like I said, meeting your kids, and growing up with, interracial kids, it wasn't not normal for me. It was normal that, Beth and JJ, and like I said, the Baxter kids, BB, and her sister, it was like family, just, and also the Buchanans, what I mean? It was like, that's how we grew up. We all grew up together, each parent, if you see out of line, would get on you, you know what I mean? And so, when I went to the Marines, it was like, hey, this is how I grew up with. I had these people who would discipline me, who weren't my skin, who could tell my butt. So, for me, I excelled at that. And that's why, I appreciate my kids. Like I said, when I lived in Keystone, my experience were, different because I get along with everybody. What I mean? And being a military person, I have learned to, live a certain way, live by, orders, command, right. Someone's in charge, and being able to accept someone being in charge is not me, right. And I think that's the most thing that, as a man, when you're growing up, you want to be in charge, but you got to understand that other people have to be in charge. You have to learn how to be in charge, correct. So you can be in charge, right. And that's why, I wrote my books, and that's why I tried to lead my life as the example, and be the example, because,
and then we had Gail that helped everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Gail always helped everybody, no matter what color you were.
Yes, ma'am. And and that compassion, the things that people didn't see with Miss Gail was that sometimes I would be hungry, and she would give me food, give me her food, or send me to the store, and it was just those times in which, that compassion, her, and also Miss Juanita Miles as well.
The little things.
The little things, yes,
that make a difference.
That they would see and they would do, and like I said, just being at the center, you know, just trying to do right, trying to do good, and having, you know, those parents and those, you know, other people, you know, like Miss Gail and Miss Miles, you know, just see that and provide those opportunities. You know, it helped me, you know, do the right thing. It helped me have people I didn't want to disappoint, you know, in the neighborhood. And I think that's important, having those adults you don't want to disappoint, and having things that you can achieve. You know, the art programs, even the sports that we started playing. We played against other neighborhoods like Lake Road and different things like that. We had to compete with those boys, you know, in an organized way without violence.
Right.
And that was important for my era as well.
Right. And that's just like when we moved over here. It's not a black neighborhood, it's not a white neighborhood, it's a mix. And we have had a young man down the road that, and I don't mean to say it to be discriminatory, was dead against this relationship. Number one, you can't tell me how to live our lives. When we got married 50 years ago,
50 years ago,
50
we got a
years.
celebration, Lord willing, this
50
year.
years ago, right around the corner from Miss Clara's beauty shop, the lady that raised him. When I first met his father in Jonesville, I was about yay big. The Holder Tops, the Daisy Dukes,
Yes, ma'am.
and he asked me to go move the car. So he was talking to his dad, and I happened to catch the tail end of the conversation. His father was telling him that he couldn't marry me. I said, okay, sir. And no lie, Corey. Jack's sitting right there. He'll tell you. No lie. I walked right up to his face. I said, excuse me. I mean no disrespect. But where in the hell do you tell a 44-year-old man who he can and cannot marry? And from that day to the day Daddy passed away, he had the highest respect for me, because they all thought I was going to be barefoot pregnant. I'm sorry, but that's the wrong answer for me. I had my kids at 22 and 23. In fact, his father was the one that bought Beth her first tricycle. So, a lot of people right now in Jonesville don't like me, because I stand up for what I believe in. When we said I do, the people that were in the room, everybody but that woman right up on that wall right there, that woman right there, which is his aunt, she married into the family and gave us 6 months to be together. And Corey, if that woman would have been living, you know how old she would be?
Oh,
She would have been 125 years old. She married John McHenry, which was his uncle. She was the pillar of the family. If his mama would have been living today, his mama would have been 122. His mother. He's the only living child out of 10.
that longevity, you know, that's. I have brothers and sisters. I'm my mom's only son, you know. But I didn't feel alone, you know, growing up, you know, in our neighborhood, you know.
There was too many kids.
And and that's why, you know, I just, you know, I kept that, you know, growing up, you know, that feeling of, you know, all of us growing up, we, you know, some of us went to different middle schools, different high schools, but still, you know, kind of kept up. And now as adults, you know, being able to, like I said, keep up with Beth, keep up with JJ, you know, and see us as adults and, you know, what we become, you know, the military and just, it's not something that, you know, as a kid I thought that, you know, I would be,
Right.
but just as a person, as I was going through high school, and like I see, the different things that you grew up with, the different,
Aspects. Different challenges.
it drew me to the Marines,
Right.
you know.
I think that's what led Beth to go into the service right out of high school. Beth graduated one weekend, the next weekend she was on her way. Beth will sign her separation papers the end of June.
That is
32
amazing.
years.
That is amazing. And if I hadn't gotten injured, I mean that's. It's when you come from Gainesville and you can get into the military. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's like you've been through so much.
And you're making something out of yourself. You know, we see so much violence here with the gun violence, the gang violence, the, you know, the other, all other domestic violence,
Yeah.
all the way around. But a lot of these kids, and I'm not ashamed to say it, the domestic violence they see at home, that's what carries them on to their adulthood. That's why they feel like they can do it. I mean, that's my opinion.
I want to get real about something. I'm glad we're talking about domestic violence.